In this conversation, I want us to talk about anger, and I'm sure at the end of this conversation, we'll have gotten a different take on the phenomenon. And as we talk, I want you to think of these 7 questions. Actually, the heading or title of this conversation is the 7 questions about anger, or the 7 questions on anger. And I'm sure if you answer these questions genuinely to yourself, you will have no problems again with this phenomenon. You'll have started on your journey of mastering it, and hence not having it to disturb you. So what are the 7 questions? 1 is, what is anger? You have to understand what anger is, such that you can always define it. If at all you feel it's, if you feel anger. Then second, what is it to be? What is it to be angry? 3, who gets angry? Then 4, and to whom do they get angry? 5, why would anyone be angry or get angry? 6, who loses and who benefits? Who loses or benefits when there is anger or when one's angry? Lastly, number 7, can someone be there or live without this anger emotion? Now, the answers that you give to those questions define how you're going to be responding to this emotion. However, there are some key things that I want you to consider. First, when you say what is anger, everyone knows what's anger in their own way. Anger is when someone is annoyed, someone is enraged, for whatever reason that might be. The reasons vary, because what makes your emotions rise might not be what makes Mr. X's emotions rise. So you know better, you know yourself better, you know what makes you angry. Now I want us to move with one example. Get that particular thing that makes you angry. We shall be moving with that. Number 2, what is it to be angry? To be angry is to be in that state of being enraged or annoyed after that something that annoys you has happened. 3, who gets angry? Now, this is the fundamental question that once you answer, it will change virtually everything in your life. Who gets angry? I don't know how you would define it, but if at all you gave yourself some time and went into a deeper examination to the subject, you'd realize that the only person that gets angry is the person that chooses to get angry, actually. I know it somehow sounds like sarcasm, but it isn't, because we've always believed that happiness is a choice. But so is sadness, and therefore so is anger, or to be angry. You choose to be angry. How do you choose to be angry? We well know, I'll remind you, that thoughts dictate how you're going to feel. So whatever thoughts you hold in your mind dictate how you feel at any particular moment. If at all you choose to think about love and ecstasy, of course you're going to feel good. If at all you want to think about kindness, doing kindness acts, or witnessing kindness acts, you're going to feel good. Now, similarly, if at all you think about murder, you think about hate, you think about stuff, you're going to feel bad. So if at all you harbor anger, if at all you interpret a situation as being offensive and then annoying to you, then you're going to feel angry. That means you've made a choice to get angry. Let's use that example of something that annoys you. Suppose you would say, maybe whenever I call someone and they don't pick, I get annoyed. Now, for you to get annoyed when someone does not pick, there are things you tell yourself. For example, you would say, maybe they are doing this, they are with this, they are doing it intentionally, stuff like that. Those are things that I'm assuming those are things that you tell yourself in your mind that make you annoyed. Now I want you to change that, to change the interpretation you make when someone doesn't pick your calls. Say, for example, maybe they are busy doing something. Maybe the phone is inside the house and maybe they're outside. Maybe it's in silent, or maybe they're they are in the middle of something important that they can't interrupt. Just give yourself any positive options that might be rather possible to that situation. And maybe the better way to do it is to ask yourself, what are the reasons what are the genuine reasons that might make me miss a call from someone? Maybe you left the phone somewhere. So when you see things in the other person's perspective, then you won't feel angry. That means you've made a choice of not getting angry. Now, in an era where you've not thought about these questions, then you'd feel angry automatically. Now we've spent so much time on that question because it's the defining key in our conversation. We go to question number 4, which says, and to whom do they get angry? Whoever gets angry. If you've answered question number 3,
why would someone get angry? You would definitely know the answer to number 4. To whom do they get angry? Because you would realize that you don't get angry to anyone. Much as you might have been carrying out an illusion that you can be mad at people, you might have also used statements like "I'm mad at you," or someone used them against you, "I'm mad at you." Essentially, since it's you who makes the choice of getting angry after interpreting the situation or things or circumstances that have happened to you, then that means you can't be angry to anyone in the literal sense, because it's your interpretations that cause you to either be angry or not. So the absolute answer to that is that you don't get angry to anyone, but rather you get angry because you've made that choice to get angry, depending on the interpretations you've made of the things that have happened before you. We go to number 5. Why would one get angry? Still, if you've answered question number 3 well, why would one get angry? Then still number 5 becomes simpler, because we know that it's the interpretations you make in your mind about what has happened that make you annoyed. Therefore, question number 5, which says, why would one get angry? It's because they have chosen to get angry, because they make wrong choices, or decisions rather. You make a wrong choice of giving attention to things that are going to make you angry. Question number 6, who benefits and loses when one's angry? The Buddha is quoted for having said, being angry is like holding a coal of fire, waiting to throw it at someone. It keeps burning, but you. That means in the literal sense, it's you more than anyone that gets hurt when there's anger, because whenever you're angry, that means your brains have secreted negative neurochemicals that weaken your body, stuff like that. All the tension is in you. I remember back in 2006 when I was still getting angry, my veins, if you can see, they're somehow on the outside, so they would pump, and then the blood pressure increases, and then I feel a headache. So it's you who suffers in the bigger picture. Much as you might think that maybe when you're angry you might not do something for someone and then they also lose, but actually it's you who loses more. Now the last question, which is number 7, that states, can anyone be there or live without this anger emotion, or without being disturbed by this anger emotion? Now that, to anyone that has ever answered these 7 questions, surely knows the true answer to the question. But however, we are ending our conversation without answering the question. Why? Because it's yours to find out after you've examined the phenomenon deeply and maybe applied a few insights herein that you find worthy. I'm looking forward to meeting you again in our next conversation on possibly about a different subject. Thank you for your kind attention. Peace, love, and kindness be upon you. I remain humble for heart.